As a musician, how do you answer the question, have I practiced enough today? Does your practice look something like this? Oh, I better warm up. Wait, scales. Oh, wait, I gotta work on sight reading. Oh, wait, repertoire. Oh, no, my music's falling all over the place. Wait a minute, I have that church gig coming up. Oh, wait, the singer needs it in another key. Your practice is nuts. It's all over the place, right? And you're trying to squeeze it all in. So as musicians, we are sometimes overwhelmed by the burden of practice. It can feel like an albatross around our necks. How much have you practiced a day? Did you practice enough? The answer is always no. That gets so tiresome. It's such a guilt-inducing thing. Hi, I'm Bradley Sowash, and today I'm going to be talking about my strategies as a jazz musician, composer, author, and educator that I use to get the most out of my practice and to time manage my practice. So I'm going to share those with you and take you through three big parts. One for teachers, one for musicians, which is teachers as well, music teachers, and then we'll just do a little summary in the end. So first I want to talk just a little bit about teachers. A little note to the teachers who are here, because I know a lot of teachers follow my doings. And what I'd like to say is that you should add options to your assignments and expectations. In my online jazz piano classes, which I teach live every week on two different courses, I tell my students that they should regard the assignment as a smorgasbord of 17 dishes. And while you may like to take a taste of every dish in the buffet and see what there is for you, it's just not reasonable to expect that you will eat everything that's there every day. And so I provide options. I say, here's an easier version, here's a little bit tougher version, and here's a very challenging way to go about this. And then this gives the student an approach to fit their day. So if they're having a rough day and they only have a few minutes, maybe they take the easier option. If they're having an extended practice session, they can dig in a little bit deeper on the more challenging ones, or not do them at all and not have any guilt about that. As long as there's some music happening, some practice happening, then we have a musician who's getting better. A musician, I like that, a musician. So drop the guilt about keeping up with doing everything. Just let that go and enjoy the tasty tidbits that come along the way. Okay, so part two. This is really the bulk of what I want to talk about today. Here are some mindsets or strategies to keep in mind when you practice. Not so much how to practice, like what notes to play, but what to think about as you approach your practice. The first one I already alluded to, which is change your mindset. And I'm going to symbolize that by changing my hat from no hat to putting on a hat. So I've changed hats from the old mindset of, oh, I've got that duty to do. I've got to have that albatross around my neck. I've got to go practice. I'm going to change that to a really special time where I wear my favorite hat. Maybe I light a candle. I make it a time for me to do something for myself. This is especially applicable to adults. We're busy. We can regard our practice time not as just one more thing to do, but as a little bit of self-indulgence, sort of like a musical hot tub or chocolate. And so if we get into that mindset that I'm really doing this for me, and I don't necessarily need complete teacher approval, I'm actually becoming a musician because I want to be a musician and my teacher is helping me become a musician. It's not so much about doing right and being good. It's about taking care of yourself, enjoying some beautiful music. So maybe you play savoringly. Just a G chord, C. part of my practice is just enjoying that calmness. Oh, I want to maybe do a little blues because I feel like it. I didn't know it was going to go there, but why not? So I'm playing for me. Maybe I, add some strings or some special sounds. You get the idea. Treat yourself to a practice session. It's a whole different mindset, and it gives us permission to enjoy it. That's number 1 of 8 tips I'm going to share. Number 2, follow your inspirations. A lot of us are do-gooders. That's why we're able to play pretty well. We've sort of followed the rules. We've done what we were told, but that can sometimes get in the way of pure inspiration. Are you super excited about the last thing that you've assigned for yourself? Just do that. Do that now. Jump into it. Did you discover a cool new sound on your keyboard that you want to explore? Deal with that. Have fun with it. Did you hear a concert where somebody inspired you, or hear something on the radio where you analyzed a chord progression, you thought it was cool and you wanted to try it out? If you have an idea buzzing around in your head and you're supposed to practice piano, but you find that you really would rather write that down or compose it or work it out, or you've thought of a new arrangement for something you play and you want to do it in a new way, all these things are sudden inspirations, which are golden. That's what you want to do to use inspiration to fuel your playing. Let me give you an example. A couple of years ago, I wrote a piece called Funky Beat. It's one of my most popular piano supplements. And it's at about, an intermediate or lower intermediate level. And how did it happen? Well, I was messing around with this very instrument here. And I found this really neat, funky beat that was in the banks of this amazing machine. I thought that is so cool. It sounds like Stevie Wonder or Earth, Wind and Fire. I don't play enough of that. And so I started messing around. I thought, well, I'll use an electric bass sound to give it a little bit more of that funky feeling. Yeah. And then I decided I would add some piano that is electric piano. Let me see if I can do that. All right. Now, and I came up with this bass line. And I just had fun. And that led me to writing a tune, which I hadn't intended to write. And it was a fun tune. People like it, and it's popular. The point is, I didn't sit down to compose a funky tune that had educational value. And I didn't sit down even to compose at all. I just sat down to play a little bit. What happened? A really neat tune came out because I followed the inspiration. So we've done shift your mindset. Number 2, follow the inspiration. Number 3, this is a really important one. Look for those stolen moments. Look for those moments when you can practice in little bits. It doesn't have to be a marathon session that leads to, dutiful working through of the details of your assignments. Those are good. You should do those sometimes. But most of the time, to be honest with you, my practice is either driven by fear because I have to play something in public soon, or that I just have a few minutes and I just get in the habit of picking up my instrument, whether it's my mandolin, guitar, bass, piano, whatever it is. They're all over my house. My wife complains about how can we please have one room with no instruments in it? And I take those stolen moments. So if somebody calls you on the phone and then you're on hold, or you're waiting to go through that menu and you're on hold, that's a great time to just practice that one particularly hard passage or lick or idea you've been working with. These stolen moments add up. So let's say your goal is to practice 30 minutes a day. If you have 3 sets of 10 minutes, I see some, thank you for those thumbs up. Those little 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there, here's a secret. They have a way of stretching themselves out because we love music. And even though we intended to just sit there for a few minutes, you know what happens? You're like, I'm just going to do this for a minute. And then pretty soon someone's saying, hello, we're having dinner. You've been there for whatever, an hour. So those minutes can either add up as small bits, or they can sometimes lead us into a practice session we didn't know we were going to enjoy. See, my screen is covered in blue likes right now. So that's a really good one. Let me see if I can demonstrate that. So yes, I'm number 107 in queue to get my technical support. All right. Yeah. Oh, hello. You moved me up? Did you know I just practiced Hannon? You get the idea. So I grabbed that moment, and maybe it's even just listening to the piece you're going to play while you're washing dishes or something like that. So we've hit shift your mindset, and I follow your inspiration. Bing! I've got an idea. I'm going to use it. 3, grab those stolen moments. Number 4, make a practice sandwich on those longer sessions where you are going to follow through with your practice all the way from beginning to end. Not the stolen moment, not the inspiration, but the one you say, this is the one I'm dedicated. I'm going to really dig down in and get good today. Think about it as a sandwich. And my metaphorical sandwich is going to start with a piece of bread. This is your warm-up. This is your Hannon or your scales or whatever instrument you use. There's always some technical exercises available. And so we'll just do that. Maybe we're on some scales. Just warm up. Just get into the instrument, rediscover how your fingers work, and find your tone production and all these kinds of things. Do that first. It's familiar. It's kind of mindless, and that's good. It just sort of helps us transition from the busyness of life to musical existence. Number 2, put on your protein. This is a very big sandwich. So this is shall I be vegan and say tofu, or an omnivore and say beef, whatever it is. Put your sandwich guts in the middle here. And that is the meat of your lesson. That is the hearty part that is kind of hard. Maybe it's a new piece. Maybe it's something you're polishing. Maybe it's something that's just challenging, just a little beyond your reach. Put that in the middle after your warm-up. And after you've done a while on that and you've been very dutiful, go ahead and reward yourself. Kind of like a warm down in a fitness class. Play something you really love. Play something you really enjoy that's in your repertoire, and they do it at the end, and you think, I'm a pretty good musician. Listen how I play that. See, what happens is a lot of people practice by going just straight to what they already know, and they play that for 25 minutes, and they're having fun playing the piece they've played 900 times, right? Maybe we should do that on piano. How many times have I played this? I'm not doing anything, right? Because I'm not gaining any musical skills at the moment. I'm just enjoying a piece that I know. So that's a great way to end a lesson, not a good way to consider yourself practicing. In fact, I would go so far as to say, if you're not sounding bad, you're not practicing. Because when you practice, you want to work on what you can't do. So you move that forward. When you just keep putting another polish on this already pretty shiny piece that you already have, you're really not advancing very far. So make that sandwich. Warm up, do the meat of it, then hit something familiar. All right, so far we've talked about shifting your mindset, following your inspiration, stolen moments for practice, and making a practice sandwich. I have 4 more to share with you. Number 5 is change your focus. Change your focus each day. So I'm going to switch glasses here so I can focus differently, metaphorically. And you can do it in so many ways. You could take a theme for the day that you're going to hit that is independent of the music. So maybe you're thinking today especially about dynamics, or maybe you're thinking about phrasing, or you're thinking about steady tempo. You make a practice focus for the day. And so I'll put phrasing here on my board here. Phrasing, meaning rubato, having some more, less than just, or better than just metric. So I put this here on my board, and I can set it off to the side here to remind me that everything I do today, I want to think about phrasing, just selecting one possibility of the many things which create musicianship. So that means if I'm practicing a tune like this, Chopin A minor waltz, I'm going to think about bringing it to that romantic phrasing, and I'm going to overdo it. I'm going to explore, how can I make the right hand play a little faster, a little slower? How can I make it reveal to me what's available in phrasing? So I'll try really slow right hand. Let's see. My right hand is pretty much behind the whole time. Let me try playing the right hand way in front, just to show you how you might explore that. I think both those were not particularly artistic, but they help me understand the outer limits of what I can phrase. And maybe then eventually it sounds like this. So by exploring those extremes for today, making phrasing my focus, I've changed the focus for the day, and I've hit that, and I've increased some musical skills independent of the repertoire. So number 6 is analyze and explore. So figure out what's going on in your music. I have here a tape measure, right? So that's my metaphorical way to measure my music and hold it up here and say, ooh, that's an A minor, and that's what is that? That's a D minor. Oh, I see. And then that's a G and a C. A minor, D minor, G minor, C. I've analyzed it. That's made my memory get better. It's made me become a more understanding musician. So I'm not just playing black dots, but I'm playing what I understand, and therefore can interpret it better. Get under the hood of your music. The other day, I learned a lick from a George Shearing CD, and it sounded like this. And I thought, oh, that is so terrific. So in order to analyze and explore that, I tried it in other keys. Here it is in B flat. Well, B flat's easy. Let me try a terrifically hard one. What if we were in F sharp? So that one didn't go as well, right? And then I'm exploring that so I can own that passage, that little lick, and use it anytime I want. So far we've hit shift your mindset, follow your inspiration, find those stolen moments, make a practice sandwich, change your focus, analyze and explore what you're playing. 2 more to go. The next one is mental practice, right? Mental practice. Believe it or not, I am practicing the piano right now. I'm not talking about meditation that is suggested by my temple bell here. What I'm talking about is literally doing cognitive practice of what it goes on in the music. For example, I could practice my circle of fifths here, taking these as chords, C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat. I would just spell them in my head. Let's see, C, E, G, F, A, C, B flat, D, F, E flat, G, B flat, A flat, C, E flat. And maybe I would picture them on my instrument. Right now, I'm learning a number of fretted instruments. They're not as familiar to me as the keyboard. But I'm doing this very thing when I'm in a bank line or when I'm, having trouble sleeping. So we can practice that. We can envision a written part of a tune, that's the D minor scale of the Bach invention. It's a D harmonic minor scale. I can picture that. And I can practice just when I'm out walking the dog by using mental practice. Even on an airplane or something, you can open your score, do your analysis, and work away from your piano. I think that's really valuable because that's how our brain neurons make those connections, right? All right. So the last one here is it's okay. It's okay. Let yourself realize I'm okay. I'm not a bad person because I didn't practice enough this week. We can get out from under the burden that we carry around. Oh, I gotta practice more. Oh, this weight's so heavy. Right? Let that go. As my friend Leela Viss likes to say, don't should on yourself. You can over-should yourself. Yeah, it's nice to practice, but maybe we don't even think of it as practice. Let's think of some other words for it. I wrote a few down here. You could call it rehearsing. You could say, I'm just doing a run-through. I'm exploring on my instrument. I'm discovering, or you could use the French one I like, faire la répétition, make the repetition. So let me summarize by saying this. Here they are. Change your mindset to indulge yourself. Number 2, respond to your enthusiasms, follow your inspiration, and let that lead you to the joy of music making. Number 3, find those stolen moments. Look for those times on the clock when you have 5 minutes and you can just squeeze in a little bit of playing there and let it turn into longer when you're excited. Number 4, make that sandwich. Start with scales and mindless playing. Go to something difficult and challenging and end with something you love. This is a very big sandwich. Number 5, choose a focus for the day. Maybe it's steady beat, playing at a faster tempo, whatever it is, and make that invade everything you practice. Number 6, analyze and explore the music at hand so that you become a musician who understands what you're playing. And that gets you by so many problems with muscle memory and blankouts and all that kind of stuff. Number 7, practice away from your instrument. Use mental practice. And number 8, give yourself a break. Have less guilt. So for more tips like this one, hop on over to bradleysowash.com and click on my improv tips blog. I take these videos, I edit them down, and I make them available along with my written comments on my blog. You can find past ones there. I'm just going to play this out by having some good time. So I'm Bradley Sowash, and until next time, enjoy your creative music making journey. Thanks for those thumbs up and love notes and all that kind of stuff. I'll just do some playing. Bye for now. Oh.